Cost me more to be free than a life in the pen. Making money over cuss words, writing again. Learn how to think ahead, so I fight with my pen. Late night down sunset, like in the scene.
Well, hello. God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk. You can see Skipp's back and Sister Herron. So God bless you and welcome to this very important hour we try to have with our community family every Thursday at this time. And we hope it makes a difference for some of us, really, because we believe the way to cure the sickness is to first identify what's broken. You have to know what's broken in order to know how to fix and make it better. So God bless you, Skipp. Thank you for what you do, who you are, traveling the country, bringing our message, and getting home safely.
Yes, ma'am. I thank God for that. I'm truly grateful to be back. Chicago didn't like me anyway. They started snowing. They started blowing wind. It went down to 22 degrees. And, you know, coming from South Central L.A., I don't think I've ever felt 22 degrees like that before, right on the lake front. So, yeah, I'm grateful to be back. Glad to be here. As I say, I always give honor and praise to God. Just truly grateful I'm not dead or in jail.
Yes, we are too, because you're a good example to show off. And, you know, we understand the Windy City. They just jealous because we don't have all that.
Right.
We got sunshine, blue skies every day,
Right.
80-degree temperatures.
Right. And one thing I will say, though, the construction workers out there went to work in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out, man. That's serious business.
Yes,
I know a lot of people out here in L.A. would be straight bums. Like I said, man, they ain't going to work when it rains.
They ain't going to the Windy City anyway,
right.
so they going to the
But I'm saying
beach.
if the conditions changed out here, people come up with excuses why they're not going to work and be productive. So I take my hat off to the people out there in Chicago. They were working, driving, didn't matter. It was snowing and real cold. They were still going to school and work. So
Well, that's the difference. You know, they work in the snow. We won't work in the sunshine.
Right.
So, you know, who knows? But we're trying to get back on the right track and make sure our kids understand the value of a good employment, a decent career, because nowadays that's kind of what you have to have.
Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. So we really appreciate you for that, Skipp. Our second thing that we do is to thank our guests from last week. So
I saw a picture.
Did you?
Yes. Was it Duane Dixon?
Yes, it was.
Was it Marcus Woods?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Marcus came and sat in for you last week, and we were very happy that he was available to cover for you.
Yes, indeed. So I wasn't privy to the conversation. Did Duane speak about what? What did he speak?
We talked about a lot of things, and really what he brought was Denise, DJ Johnson, and they're working together now. And the one thing that I loved about them is that they're not only doing reentry, but they also have a hand in foster care, being emancipated out of foster care, and where do you go after that, and things that people never consider. You know, they just see a gang problem, but they never see the damage done to the kids for whatever reason.
Right.
So it's excellent. Duane has always been engaged in the reentry.
Right.
But now he has a chance to work with the young people coming out of foster care, trying to find a place.
Right. So one of the things I always say about Duane, I met him in 2006, and immediately I didn't like him. No, seriously, he was arguing with Vicki Lindsay, and and I'm thinking, who would argue with someone who's a mother of a murdered child? You know, so I was coming through the crowd at ceasefire, ready to hit him in the back of the head. And what happened was he eventually went back to jail, went back to prison, and he was calling me from prison and telling me the things that were going on in there. And when he came home, he started helping the lifers, and he started with his own money. He started with no help. Right. He started organizing and doing things, and I said, you know what, I got a new respect for you, brother. You know, I appreciate who you are as a human being, and he's been out there really giving of himself, and you know, so I take my hat off to him now. He's a brother who's been to prison 2-3 times. And, you know, there's a lot of people in jail. I've been in jail, been to prison. There's a lot of people, and even I did it myself, say, oh, when I come home, I'm going to change this, or I'm going to shoot something to the homies, I'm going to do this or do that, and get home and don't do nothing.
Don't do anything.
But Duane, He really has. You know, he's writing letters. He has Welcome Home LA. You know, he started that at Chuco's Justice Center, and you know, just a lot going on. So I take my hat to Duane. You know?
Absolutely. You know, and then we're going to go into the show.
Yes, indeed.
But a lot of people don't understand the dynamics of reentry.
Right.
And too many don't care.
Right.
It's like, hey, you stay in lockup, you paid your crime, so what? You coming home, nobody cares.
Right.
And so it's always a big vacuum.
Right.
When you come back out, and to now embrace the things that have changed while you were locked up. You know, it's a whole lot of things that have to be addressed. And the truth is, if it wasn't for men like Duane that are actually coming to help in the reentry, how many would become repeat offenders and go back, which is what the system expects you to do anyway.
And you know who that would be? That would be the individuals that you talked about, the individuals who don't have family, who are emancipated youth. When they go and do several years, they come home and have nothing. So the best thing they have is that structure inside prison. The best thing they have is they know what the system is like in prison, but it's hard to have a system out here. And moving forward, talking about reentry, you know, I don't know if you know, but the young man right here, if I have him introduce himself and tell how much time he did actually in prison, and you know, that's exactly what we're talking about. Young fella, would you introduce yourself, man, and
give us any of your backstory you feel comfortable sharing with us?
Yeah. My name is Leo Victor Smith, and they called me Pretty Boy from Rolling 60s. Back in the days.
Yes, indeed.
And, I did 32 years, you know, for somebody else's crime. You know, but back then, like I said, you had a lot of strong individuals, kept their mouth shut, and, you know, sometimes you had to do that time, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, a lot of guys, you know, that's getting out, they have these reentry homes and halfway houses set up for them, right? They're making it mandatory now because they get money off a lot of guys that's coming out.
Yeah.
They make it mandatory for the lifers?
Yes, mandatory for the lifers.
Oh, yeah.
It's mandatory for the lifers, right? It used to be where you had some place to go or went home, you can just go there. But now everything has a dollar attached to it.
Yes.
So you get them in these places for 6 months or a year. And, you know, like a lot of lifers, they don't understand. Lifers' reentry to society is different from the average non-lifer. Due to the fact is, before we leave there, we have to show proof, right, that we have residents and we have family that would take us.
Right.
The average person
Parole
that's
plan,
parole plans. The person that's a non-lifer, he don't have to have that. He just leave, you know. But we're set by a different set of standards and rules. So when I got out, you know, I said I was going home. Parole board said it was okay. I said, okay, cool. I was home for a few days, you know, straightening up, you know, got me some clothes and things like that. And I met with a parole officer. He said, why you ain't in one of those places? I said, board said I can go home. And he said, no, we just can't have you walking the street like that. So in my mind, I was like, walking the street like that? I said, I'm free.
Yeah.
So, you know, he gave me one of those options. You either go or you going back. So, you know, I just went ahead, went with the program, went in there. But what they don't understand is a lot of lifers, when they get ready to come up, they have jobs lined up for them. So when you send a person to a place like that,
with all
he loses his job. Now
now
you have to go back and trying to get a job again, because the job that you already had waiting for you, nobody's going to hold that job for 6 months to a year.
No.
So I had to turn around and go the hard way, you know. But, you know, go through an agency, but I still got employment. But it's just the fact is, you know, some people, and I hate to say it, some people get out and their family didn't die before they got out.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Everybody didn't die. So what would he do when he go out?
But go ahead, Sister.
I was going to say, Duane mentioned that last week, that his mother passed, and they wouldn't even give him the opportunity to go to her service. It was just this is not going to happen for you. Your mother's going to pass, and you're going to have to watch that happen from inside the lockup. We don't care.
But you know why, right? See, one, you have to pay for those guards' salary.
Right.
Every day that they're escorting you.
Right.
You're going to be shackled, and then you're coming back.
Right.
They used to do that on low-level cases a long time ago.
Okay.
Now they don't do it anymore. So when your parents die and they call you to that office, you just have to sit up there and cry, bite the bullet, or whatever you're going to do, and try to get over it the best way you can. Yeah. But they don't understand that.
Get over
but
it.
It changes a person after that.
Yes, it does.
You don't understand what it does to a person to watch his parents from a distance. When you get out, the last thing you remember your parents, especially if they couldn't come see you when they was probably in their early 40s. Mm-hmm. You probably didn't see them age. My mother passed away right before I got out. Mm. So yeah, I was upset, you know. Yeah. But it's like this, you know, you got to move forward. You got to take care of yourself because nobody's going to give you handouts. Mm-hmm. And you got to do the best you can, especially if you're coming back in the city.
Oh, my God.
You coming back in the city.
After 30 years, look at the things that changed.
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest with you right now.
Please.
Somebody asked me one time, had anything changed when I came home? And I told him not a damn thing. I said this.
How you say not a damn thing?
You know why? I sit up there and had my cousin take me from street to street through my old neighborhood. All the houses were still the same. Mm-hmm. The grass was cut just the same. Though. I'm going to be honest. I ain't see nobody different because everybody else is still on this scandalous stuff. They still trying to make a buck. Only difference is we got older.
Okay, well, think about this. Because I know the area. I don't know exactly what house you was in, but I know the area. The people on your block, that I used to walk down your street, and that boy Shites would be on the porch sweating all. I went to Catholic school. I went to 70th and Van Ness. So he would sit on the porch and sweat us. Mm-hmm. Think about them porches now. Who lives in them houses?
Yeah, actually, people still stay.
I know. Yeah, Mr. Baker still stay there.
Now a lot of people on that street have moved out. But what I'm saying is, the houses look exactly the same as when I left. When I went down that street, it was like I never went to prison. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. And I told my cousin, drive me down the rest of the streets. The only thing was different for me, so you moved to McDonald's 20 blocks down the street. It's still a McDonald's.
Well, actually, they moved in 20 McDonald's in the time you was gone on the same block.
It's still a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed. A Big Mac is still a Big Mac. So I had to look at it realistically like that. You know, it wasn't like I got out and got spooked and looked up in the sky and then passed out because everything changed. You still got ghettos. I went past some alleys. It's still junky. I said, well, I didn't miss nothing. I didn't miss nothing at all. The only thing they have probably about 25% more homeless, and trees grew down Western. Right. And they messed up Crenshaw.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me this.
It wasn't nothing exciting.
What was at the corner of 68th and Western before it was that, whatever it is now, it's homes on there, but it was something at that corner.
It was a drugstore. There was a drugstore right on that corner. And then across the street from that, Jackson's Bar still there.
Right, Jackson's Bar still there.
You know, and on the other side, it was a dentist's office. But before that,
that's gone.
It was a bakery on 67th and Western. Mm. And before that bakery, it was a liquor store.
I remember that. And there was a candy store, too.
Yes, a candy store on Florence and Western. And then, like I said, a lot of stuff has changed, but when you go down the neighborhood streets, it still look the same.
Well, the homes are not going to change. The homes are not going to change. Only the ones that live in
the people in the homes.
The people in the homes is what has changed. Your family has gone out of the home that you were raised in.
I passed by my house and seen the person that was living in it. Mm. And I told him, I said, hey, you got this house now? He said, yeah, I've been here a couple of years. I used to live in that house back in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah.
No, he wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I said, I can tell you everything in that house right now.
No, he wouldn't know that. He's only been there 2 years. Yeah.
So, like I said, they kept some of the neighborhoods up, down the neighborhood. But on the front streets, it's sad to even look at it when I pass by, but
that's really what I'm getting at. It's not really the homes and the blocks, except for the families that used to be there when you were a child growing up, and we had that community closeness, the bond.
Right. See, that's the part happened. Because if I do 32 years, I want to come home and I want to get the support of my community.
Right.
But I can't get that support if my community no longer lives there. Now with the Rams and Chargers coming, a lot of people are moving out the communities, and other people are moving in.
Yeah.
So I can't get that support.
Well, I don't know if y'all know what they're doing right now. They're going from door to door asking people they want to sell their property.
Oh, they've been doing that.
Yeah, I know. They go door to door and want to sell your property.
And look, if they can't do it that way, they'll cheat you with a home improvement loan.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, right. Some kind of way to get their hand in your pocket financially. But the problem in our community, we've lost a lot of ownership. Over the years, we've lost a lot of ownership.
Because we've lost a lot of the men. They've gone to do the 30 years or 21 years, 25 years, and they come home and don't get it together. So I tip my hat to you for coming home with your right mind.
Yes.
I know so many other people. And then one of the other things we were talking about earlier, too, is parole. So my partner, Lil Man, I don't know if you ever did time with him, but Charles, he's our guy from the electrical union now. He did 27 years. So he's going to work, and the parole officer calls him and says, I need you to go home. He's like, I'm a union electrician. I need to get over here.
Yeah, get my
I
job
got
done.
to keep my job. And they said, well, if you don't go to the house so that I can meet you at the house. And he said, can you just meet me at the job? I'll take a 10-minute break or something, introduce you to my boss. I'm really working. And they said, they ain't give a damn. They care less. Meet me at the house. I want to see your living conditions, which to me is so unfair. Like you said, that they don't care if an individual loses his employment. That's not important, especially going to these houses. I know a couple of them that they say that you're going to go by the rules of the house. So we got another guy who was a carpenter, and he said that the rules of the house was that he had mandatory meetings during the day. So he said he was given overtime and he could work Saturdays. But the rules of the house, like you're missing your daytime meetings because you're at work. You're not going to miss your meetings on Saturdays. To me, it's just unfair. So that's something that needs to be changed.
It's like
What
a
area
big
do you
old...
live in?
Huh?
Where you stay in L.A.?
Nah, he's in Pasadena. He was at the Amity House or one of them.
Oh, well, I was going to say, because a lot of them out here, they don't have that.
Oh, okay.
That's why when you were saying that, I was like, wow, where he live at?
Well, you know what the point that Skip's making is there are a lot of tricks in this thing, and you have to be wise about them. And the point that you're making is if I'm already on parole and I'm working, how do I save my job from being jeopardized by my parole officer?
Right, and not only
how does
that,
work?
you brought up a point because Crossroads, which houses women, is the same way. I know some women in Montclair, the Pomona area, who've gone through the same thing, going to Crossroads, where they say, well, Skip, I can't go to work because I got to do these mandatory meetings, so I can only work during these hours, which, may not apply to certain places in L.A., but it applies to
it
others.
sure defeats the purpose
It
of
does.
getting a income, meaningful income.
Yeah.
See, people can flip burgers at McDonald's because some of them open 24 hours, but it's not going to feed a family.
Right.
Okay, so you're giving folks meaningful employment that will pay their rent, that will give them a career, that will
Help them buy a
sustain them.
home.
Yeah, sustain them for the rest of their lives. Here comes probation interfering with that.
Parole.
Parole.
CDCR. Right.
Parole, yes. Interfering with that process, you're likely to lose it all and be under their complete control. That's the drawback in the system, and we really want to unglamorize the notion that, I'm going to go get hard when I do my time.
No, because like I said, I guess the office I'm at, they'll let you know, hey, when you get off from work, and they'll meet you there. And, they more a little bit respectful, but, I've heard places like that out of certain areas, out of certain cities or counties that do that. So I'm kind of blessed I don't have to go through that. Right. But, like I said, you got a lot of guys getting out, and they getting out, a little angry because, when you do a lot of time and go through what you go through in the joint, you get a little resentment, because I was getting like that. I ain't gonna lie, I was getting like that because everything in prison, instead of making it to where you can adjust back to society, they was making it to where if you get out in society, you get mad and come back.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody snap at you.
Yeah.
So you have to get your mind right before you get out.
An empty cot has no value to the state of California. An empty jail cell has no value to the state of California. And since we have decided in the last 20 years to build more prisons and schools, we have to keep them full, don't we?
Right.
In order for that prison to operate successfully. So reoffending is the order of the day. I mean, you're supposed to come back. In their mind, you weren't even supposed to leave.
It's not for the people.
No.
It's about the system. It's about the government being able to maintain. Let me ask you, did you go to self-help groups while
I
incarcerated?
did self-help groups. I did everything you can think of. College courses, self-helps, 8-year Scare Straight program, worked PIA, Prison Industry Authority, where they only pay you 95 cents an hour.
Wait, hold on. Wait, don't say that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
there's a lot of money there.
I know a lot of people was getting 11 cents.
Oh, yeah.
And 8 cents, so you was balling.
Yeah.
So people was, looking like, hey, man, that dude balling.
Oh, yeah,
but
dollar.
when you look at it, it really ain't nothing.
No.
See, I'm going to tell you how the way to get their money back now. And I hope a lot of youngsters is hearing this before they go in, or if they ever decide they want to take that road back in. What they do now is restitution. They came up with this law.
Yes.
It started out with 22%. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Then it came up to 33%. Right. Then it turned into 44%. Then it turned into 55%. It's really 50%, but 5% is for processing. Right. So if your family's on a budget and they only can send you $20, you only get $9.50.
Yeah, send $100 and the person get 45.
So what can you get with that? Really, you have to make everything last. Yeah. And it's really hard because now what they're doing is if you had been to prison before and had restitution from the previous time, you paying for that too.
Yes,
so you got two restitutions. Yes. One might be $3,000 and one might be $5,000.
Yes.
Ain't that horrible, man? It is the
we haven't even talked about child support. If you got children, when you go lock up, that child support dollar keeps adding up.
I done seen so many dudes. I go to jail. I did a violation in 2004. I seen so many dudes coming home. Matter of fact, the same dude that you talking about, that Charlotte's daughter. Yeah, he came home and he came back to L.A. County and he was there for child support. And I'm like, man, you've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
But he came back to and I'm thinking this is horrible. This dude been in prison since the what year was that? 87, 88, something like that?
You know, a friend of our kids, because our kids grew up in the violence, all right, surrounded by it. There was no way to go to avoid it. And a lot of their friends got caught up, and some of them went to lockup too. And one of their dear friends, a good guy, not really a hard head like we expect a hard head to be, came home, his child support was $70,000. $70,000.
It adds up when you're gone.
Wait, how's he supposed to pay that?
Right.
When he comes out, you got this choke chain called prison around your neck, that collar that says you're not employable, but you still got this child support racking up. Right. And he's a man that loves his kids.
What it is the what do they call it? The penalties.
Yeah,
it's the penalties.
Is that what?
Because that happened to me as well. I'm up there right now. I started at 30-something thousand. I'm up there damn near 100,000.
That's crazy.
And they've been garnishing my wages from 2007 till current day, and it's still because it's not enough. It's not, and it's the system taking advantage of the people. I don't want to talk about child support though. When I got Leo here, because.
Well, I'm just adding the hurdles that they present to someone trying to come out and
But you touched on something, sister. You touched on the young people. I don't know if it was one of y'all touched on the young people. I think you did, paying attention. So there are people, and I just want to say that he never knew. I'm sitting on the porch watching. Right. This is the second guy. So there's another guy, Johnny Ball, out of the jungles over here. So I watched him. He was a skinny guy who had a pocket full of money, take his shirt off, got a gold chain, had a Chevy, and, he was just having it big. I used to idolize people who were thin because I was 95 and I was 125 pounds when I got a D number, So I know that there are people who were before me who I used to, I don't want to say idolize, but look up to, like, if they could do it, I could do it.
The hero of the neighborhood.
Right. So I say that because there are people who are still looking up to you. People who are in the pen probably looking up to you. And what do we do to make sure this doesn't happen again? That there's no one else who loses 32 years or even 22 years of their life going down this negative road.
Well, this is what you're here to do, is to try to help break that cycle in the thinking that this is the future I want for myself. So that's why it's important that, men who have been through this come back and talk to the young brothers and make them understand. No,
it's that influence. So using your influence, brother, how do we stop?
Yeah, one, you can't be pumping them up and make it seem like the prison is cool. Yeah. That's where a lot of people made their mistake back in the 80s, telling everybody it was cool due to the fact is back in the 70s and the 80s in prison, right? You can wear your own clothes. You can get packages sent in at any time you want. You can go on a visit anytime you want. You have the conjugal visits. So, and then you had name brand food, and you can order from any vendor in prison. Right. So that's how it was back then. So when somebody came out and they said, well, how was it? And they just tell them the truth. So when they tell these youngsters the truth about this, they envisioning, they got these orthopedic mattresses and these, because we did have TVs. We could have TVs back then. Radio,
in the weight room.
But they didn't understand that themselves was no bigger than a hotel bathroom. You're in there with another person.
Right. The closet.
So now, when somebody asks me, a youngster, how was it in there? I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to tell them, hey, look, man, check this out. You wearing some stretch pants and a blouse with CDC printed all over it. You wearing some tennis shoes that cost 45 cents to make, and after the sun hit them for about 20 days, they're going to turn yellow and break up around your feet.
Right.
I say you wearing somebody else's drawers that probably been in the system for about 15 years, with elastic it's not good anymore, so they're hanging off you.
Yeah, I used to hate that.
Now you eating top ramen all day because you're subject to get sugar diabetes or a health problem, because that's the only thing affordable that can fill you up due to the prison meal is made in bulk. See, when I first came to the joint, what happened was they would give you steaks, chicken, stuff that we would eat out here that our parents would make us. Then what happened was when the prison system exploded, they said we can't feed them like that anymore. So what we got to do is we got to have to feed them in bulk.
Yeah.
We're going to have to feed them like chicken and cattle.
Yes.
So what they start doing is they start buying stuff in big bags. So we might eat hominy. We eat grits probably, I don't know how many times a day. Beans all day long. Right. So stuff like that can be bought in bulk and feed everybody. So they're not looking at the nutrition of it. Oh, no. They're looking at that 2,000 calorie or 2,000 calorie intake. That's all they're looking at.
Well, I actually think they're looking at the budget, how much we can save on food.
But
see, when
that's what they're doing.
But when I look, and you said back in 2010, it was $74,000 a cot. How much of that was your food allowance?
Oh,
come on!
No, let me tell you,
to give you how many? Something's wrong with this budget.
I'm gonna tell you why it kept going. I'm gonna tell you the real reason why it kept going up. The only reason why it kept going up, they had a special on PBS called Aging Inmates. The reason why is because back in the days, they gave you a reasonable time to get out of prison in good health, to get a job and keep going. Now they're giving you so much time, before you get out, you're a physical wreck.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting out on a cane. So the money that they're paying out for the inmates, the reason why it's rising because most of it's in medical. They have to keep giving you pills. They have to keep taking you to outside hospitals. They got to keep treating you all day. Specialists, everything. This comes from they giving you too much time, and you're turning. And some people dying in prison.
Yes,
yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
Now they got medical prisons now, right? They're making because a lot of people are not getting out. They know they're not going home. So now they have medical prisons where the inmate is going to stay there and die in prison because he cannot make parole. Now what they did, a lot of people don't know what they're doing now about the life situation. Back in the days, life was 7 years, right? Then in 1983, it turned to, not 83, in the early 80s. Before that, it turned to 15 to 25 years of life. Now, a lot of people are just getting out from them sentences. What they did to make sure you don't get out this time, in 1994, they came up with a new law, which means if you get 25 years of life now, you will do that 25 year before you go to your first board. Now, how they sweetened it to make sure you would die in prison, what they do is like when I came in, they gave you 2 years for the gun, no matter what type of crime it was. Now you get 25 years for the gun, 25 years for the murder or whatever you're going to get. And you're going to get probably enhancements. So now you made it 55 years of life. So even if you went to prison if you was 18 years old, you're not going to make it out. So if you go to prison while you're 30, you guaranteed dead. So now they got a way, because a lot of people don't understand why a lot of the old lifers got out now. They have to make room for the new lifers. So the youngsters that's going in now, they're replacing all the old lifers. So that's what's going on now.
And a lot of them come home so unhealthy, they die shortly thereafter.
Because they've been eating top ramen, beans, oatmeal. Everything is based on starch in prison. So you can't eat starch for 20 years and not think you're going to get sugar diabetes or bad health.
Right.
You know, I stopped eating top ramen because it was just horrible now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so I started
It
eating like,
is.
yeah, so I cut down on eating to keep my health going.
Right.
But now, like I said, and the medical is lousy.
Well, the point that you're making here is that you don't have a choice about what they feed you.
You don't.
None.
If you don't have nobody to
You gotta
help
get
you
that
out
package.
there.
Nobody-
But that package ain't whenever you want it now. It's quarterly, every 3 months.
It's a quarterly package.
Quarterly
You
package.
get that every 3 months, and you select it for
Right.
what you can get.
And you have to use their vending source. You
Yeah.
have to go.
Oh, that's
go
now
through-
that's the racket now.
Oh,
Right.
my
It used to be
God.
where your family can go to the store and
Right.
pay for this stuff and send it to you. Now what they did, they said, wait a minute, this is what we'll do. We'll set up some vendors, right, and make them buy from us, and we'll jack the price up about
Right.
$2 or $3.
Oh, my God.
And once we do that, right, we're not only getting the money that they getting, they're working for back. We're getting their family's money because their family have to send them the money to order it, or if they family order it
They
direct
got
from
to
us.
buy from
And look,
us.
And then on top of that, you ever had one of them food sales?
Oh,
Did y'all
yeah.
have food sales
Yeah.
there? So now the food sale is where Pizza Hut come in.
Yeah.
And you buy a pizza
KFC.
or KFC, and you could they do Carl's Jr. where I work at. So you could buy you could buy a pizza, say normally $10 or whatever. Well, now it's going to be $14, $15
Yeah.
for that same pizza because they have the markup, so they
Yep.
can get. So isn't that crazy that the state of California is? And let me tell you, I work at a prison, right? And you know who the warden was when I first came? Well, when I got kicked out because they ran my background, but when I came back, the warden was Kimberly Baker, Kimberly Hughes now.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So she was the warden, and that's how we got to talking about. That's how I knew you was out of jail. She had told me, but it's crazy. She went to Horseman and Crenshaw and all that, and where her brother sits on the porch and want to beat up people, she went to school. Where you know what I mean? Where the people in the community start going to prison, she went too, but as a CO. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yep.
But this hasn't been a life we could just put on lock and say, oh, this is how it's going to evolve, because the whole point is that it was a surprise to us how this thing mushroomed out of control
He
and
was
put
there.
us against ourselves.
He was there. Let me ask this question now. Let's go there. Let's go down Western Avenue. Now, you ever eat at Vivian's?
Yes.
Right. I used to eat at Vivian's. It's on 69th, right?
We all used to eat at Vivian's. It was
Right.
good food.
But at some point, it wasn't cool for you to cross that street to go to Vivian's.
Right.
Yeah. So now
Right.
let's talk about that. Like, what could be done now? So I remember watching. I used to live on 66 and Dinker. For whatever reason, my mother thought that we were going to move to a better neighborhood on 63rd and Crenshaw. But what she did was took us out the north side 8 Tray and put us in the heart of the rolling 60s.
And how would she know?
She didn't know.
She didn't know.
She told me to go to the store. I'm not going to the store.
Not going
I
to
ain't
the
give
store.
a damn what you say.
See, when
Whoop me.
back then, when your parents moved, they back then, especially back then, right? A lot of parents was from the South, so all they know is the struggle from the South. They
That's
don't know
right.
anything about gangs. So when they move
No.
in the neighborhood, they just looking at, oh, this house look nice. But
Nice
we
neighborhood.
growing up as youngsters, we look our surroundings. We know what we around.
Yes.
So we looking at, hey, look, Ma, I can't go over here. It's all just nonsense. Go there and get a store, get that milk and bread.
Right.
And then you come back, what happened to the milk and bread? Somebody took it. Well,
Yeah.
You better go back and get it.
Right,
They
right.
don't
That's it.
understand
That was my mama right there telling
You
me
know
to go
what?
fight.
And truthfully, I lived that life. I was born in this city. I could go anywhere I wanted to. But when my oldest boy went to the liquor store one night and came back empty-handed, all upset, it's like, son, what happened to what you went to go get? Oh, they took it from me and threatened my life.
Right.
It's like, am I going to send him back to that store? No.
Oh, my mama did.
No,
My mama sent
no.
me and my brothers to over and over. You better go get it. You better. You better.
At that time, we was fighting murder, okay? It was a murder thing. And somebody come at you like that would take your life too. And his life just meant more to me than whatever that was that he was
So
supposed to get at that liquor store.
I'm a little older than your son. So back in the days, no, I was just gonna have to fight. I was
Yeah.
gonna get, but they wasn't shooting yet. So I'm talking about like 74, 75. We lived on 66. We used to go to the market on Normandy and 67th Street. Quan's Market.
Quan's.
Yep, we used to go to
I
Quan's.
know Quan's.
So yeah, but as time evolved, right? As time evolved, now I'm living on 63rd and Crenshaw. Now it's going down. Now y'all done started shooting each other and stuff. And I'm gonna say y'all because he already know who got shot and he said it was you. So
Yeah.
so the thing is, times change.
Yeah, times change.
Times have
They
changed, and it's no longer about fighting. It's no longer about intimidation.
No.
And now it's about. So what happened then?
Let's talk about the young man that was just killed. What was that? Last
yeah.
week by the 3 kids. One of them from Palos Verdes High School.
Yeah, Justin,
killed down on
Gino's son.
Yeah, 78th and Western.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's
just
real
when the homicides are coming down in our community.
But here's the thing. So it's so glorified. Now, I know you guys remember last year when Soulja Boy and Chris Brown was fighting over Fruittown Piru, right? And Soulja Boy out there like, yeah, I'm from the turf, this and that, and, all that type of stuff. It's so glamorized now that we got people in Palos Verdes who, one of the biggest neighborhoods around is the neighborhood Crips, the Rolling 60s. So people in Palos Verdes want to be a part of that. You got, matter of fact, I was in jail 2004, and there was a dude, an Iranian dude. I'm doing a violation. Big U was in there too. He's doing a violation, and there was an Iranian dude who told me he was from 60s. Told me he let off, he was facing life. And his mother and father were doctors. They live in the Overhills. He got a nice big house. Wow. And I'm like, man, what the f*** are you doing,
what
man?
Are you doing?
What is you really doing? You didn't have to do this.
But see, people join out of fear. People, it's like when the gangs really got big, people started to join gangs out of fear to keep from being a victim.
Yeah.
See, when I got the Horseman, right?
Yeah.
When I got the Horseman Junior High in the early 70s, right? And I used to see a group of kids, they used to be moving like a bunch of bees. Like 30, 35 in a group moving. So I said, why are they moving like that? They say, look, if you just move with the group, right, then you won't be a victim.
Right, there it is.
So I'm looking at them, right, I said, this looks crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And
the idea to think that my child needed protection to get home from school, are you serious? He's going to school. What do you mean he needs to be protected to get from school to home? But things like that happen to our
Imagine
community.
me walking past Horseman going to the Catholic school.
Yeah.
Do you know why I know all these people that I know from out that neighborhood? Because I had to walk to go to Catholic school. With them salt and pepper pants and that white shirt made me a victim anyway. Period.
Yeah.
I had to fight, so I'm not going to go down 67. I'm going to go down 68. Right. But in the middle of the block, right across the street from Horseman, I don't know who lived, that second, third house from the corner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who it was, but whoever it was. Now I got to fight him.
Got to fight him.
Yeah, so when I get to 68 right before Cimarron, it's cool. That part is cool. But as I'm coming around, I got to look out for the John L, JD, all the Arlington boys. I got to look out for the Springers. If I walk down 66, I got to look out for Stacy and Stanley, the twins, So it's on every block there was somebody who wanted to victimize somebody.
This is what's so crazy. Look how things changed in your generation from what generation raised me. See, there's a big old transformation that we as a people are not acknowledging. Something happened to us that changed our village and our dynamic and how we felt about each other. Well, yeah, he was
right there.
And you was admiring him.
Because he was skinny and they were scared of him. So I was skinny, so I wanted them to be scared of me.
You want people to be scared of you too.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? When towards the late 1960s, a lot of brothers stopped being scared. Due to riots, watch riots, they stopped being scared. Black power this, this here and that. They stopped being scared. So they didn't have no more, the deep South, waving a handkerchief over my head, step and fetch it. Those days was over with. But here's the problem with that. Once you stop being scared and you start taking on this tough persona or this image, then you let it get out of hand. I'm tougher than you. I'm tougher than you. It ain't no different from a lynch mob. A lynch mob be scared to come at you, but all it takes is one person to pump it up.
Right.
Once he pump it up, everybody else is tough.
That influence.
The same thing with gangs. Once you get one person to say, hey, look, this is what we're going to start. We're going to start this gang here, right? Someone say, I don't know, man. And then I say, look, man, all we need is 5 good, good dudes. So if you can get 5 to follow you, right, those 5 can get 15. And before you know it, you're not scared anymore. But here's the problem. Now you start taking on the role as I'm tougher than this group. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your bike, and you ain't going to do nothing to me because you're 15 deep.
Right.
Now when another gang pops up and gets the same strength, right, you feel threatened because you think this gang is going to try to punk your gang. So now what ends up happening is y'all settle it out to be cordial with each other, just as long as y'all don't step over each other's toes. But it's always one person.
Right.
It's always one person in that gang, the ignorant person that nobody wants to check, nobody wants to control, and it's all about, well, if we got to roll with the homie whether he's right or wrong. No,
Right.
because if he's wrong, he's wrong. So now, if this guy steps on this turf's toes, what's going to happen is they're going to tell him, y'all got to do something about him. They can say, well, that's the homeboy. We can't do nothing to him.
Right.
Now y'all getting ready to go to war.
Yeah.
Right.
See, a lot of
But
that's
isn't
what
that
happened.
what
That's what
happens?
happened
That's
in the
what
early
happened.
70s with us. I mean, in the late 70s with us. What happened was we was tight. Us in 83rd Streets, 60s, we were tight. All it took was that one shooting.
Behind the Hobart Club.
Yeah. It took that one shooting, and nobody couldn't come to agreement to bringing the shooter forward. So, like anybody who loses a brother or a sister, that person is going to get mad. He's going to get upset because we feel like you trying to hide the shooter.
Right.
So anyway, that
Right.
escalated.
Yes,
now, when
it
that
did.
escalated, now here's the chain. It's like the chain reaction. It's like two big major countries, right? You know, Germany want to help this country. That country want to help this country. It's no different with the gang. This gang want to help us
Well, you
because
know
we
what?
on this side of town.
What you're
this
really
gang gonna help
talking
them
about-
because we like them better.
You're talking about the birth of retaliation.
Yes,
See,
but-
when you started, there used to be a code. There used to
It
be a
was a
code.
code,
Like
yeah.
if there's kids present, women present, no, we
Yeah.
back up, we wait for another time.
Yeah.
But you had identified your target. What changed and what you just said, when they protected the shooter,
Yeah.
that's when anybody's life became available
There
to
it go.
take. That's the essence of retaliation,
And then when
right
drugs came
there.
out,
Oh yeah, that was it.
that messed up everybody's thought pattern, thinking, and everything. Then everybody was just doing anything to get a hit.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was scandalous or whether
get
it was
money,
robbery
too.
or just
Yeah.
whatever, breaking in
My
your
God,
your
yeah.
neighbors' houses that you grew up with. So,
They
and I
just
used
got
to
out
tell
of
everybody,
control.
drugs made everybody just either become cowards
Yeah.
or become dope fiends.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people in school that I never thought would just go down to homeless or you know.
But think about this. So back in the days, like I say, I'm watching the dudes who got the muscles, who could fight and this and that. And those were the leaders of the area. The dude who could fight, 69th Street boys. That dude was the leader, right? Because he fighting. I never had a fight with Cody. But I fought his brother. I fight Todd Wesley, Michael Orso.
Yeah.
I fought everybody on their
Yeah.
block. But I never fought him, right? Because he was the leader and he would just send them or whatever, right? But when
Right.
drugs came, now the toughest dude ain't the leader. It's the dude with the most money. The dude with the most influence now is the dude who got the Benz, the BMW, the one who got the sack.
That's the
and
way
I
it
think
worked on my block.
that was another downfall because now there's no structure. Now there's no fear of this dude. Man, you could fight, but I'll shoot you. You come across me
Yeah,
now.
or you
Now
fail.
I'm not about to fight you. I'm not about to fight none of your peoples. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot you if you come at me wrong.
Yeah.
So that too took a lot out of it. You know, when it had to be a fight, because see, growing up, I had to fight. You know, going to Dorsey. I went to Dorsey. I had to fight to get home, to get to the bus stop, go past Crenshaw. I got to fight going past Crenshaw. When that was over with and everybody got guns, I think now the coward becomes the tough dude. The coward becomes the dude in charge because he got money and he got a following. He got the influence.
But here's the problem about that. See, when somebody find out that he's the one sending these guys on missions, here, look, man, here's 50,000, go knock such and such off. Now, the guy that don't have no money, he looking like, well, I'm gonna just knock off that dude, or take what he got, because that's what ended up going on later on.
Well, all the
We
robbers,
said,
the
okay,
jacking.
this guy right here, he was a buster coming up. He was weak. Now he got a little money in the car, and he think he telling these dudes to go do something. Okay, instead of getting his little minions, we're gonna go get him. See, now he never been tough. Now he got to flee for his life.
Yeah. Right.
Because he'd never been in a fist fight or a gunfight.
That's
See,
the ugly part
works,
of this.
It works
this
bad
war.
both ways.
Yeah, it does. You know
know?
what? This was just a destruction of the black community.
It was.
Just a destruction, starting with our men, and our women are still fractured about that. And we're raising kids in uncertainty because we're waiting for our men to figure out if our village is gonna continue.
Right.
You see, we can still have babies, but without black men, they won't be black babies. Right. And that's the point. How many of our men can the women afford to say, oh, honey, go and do what you want to. Go and do your own thing.
No, our numbers are too low now for any of this to continue. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted him to come. I know his influence. I know the history, that went on between that front area right there. So
it wasn't just Western.
Well, no, from what, eventually it went on, but that
came from the big explosion, put it like that. Well, before that, it was it might have been a shooting here, and the public really, like, when I say a shooting here, it wasn't like the big war of 79.
Right.
You might, like in the early 70s, if another gang member shot somebody, the newspaper blew it up out of proportion because that was something unseen. Right. They didn't know that 1979 was on its way. Mm-hmm. So they made that like really, really, really the just disastrous. But when 79 hit, anything that happened back in the early 70s was minute to what happened in 79. Because it got worse. It exploded. It exploded.
Worse. It did.
People were dropping.
You know what my reference is? Not only that our kids were raised in the environment, okay? I'm the mother, and I'm looking at this going on around us. And in the early days, just at the beginning of the ghetto bird, I hear gunfire all night long, rapid gunfire coming from the east. And what surprised me was the level of arms that were being used. The rapid gunfire, what the hell? That's an automatic weapon.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
Okay, and wait a minute, but they're shooting automatic weapons at each other. That's the point I'm trying to make. So it caught my attention, but it wasn't on my block yet. Not yet, but it was coming that way. Yeah. See, so we raised our children trying to migrate through the environments surrounding them, and it's all the kids that they grew up with. It's a whole neighborhood. Yeah. And when you say that the money was the appeal in those years, it was, because all the young men that our kids grew up with, not all of them, but a majority of them, followed the guy with the money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they joined for the money, not because they wanted to be so hard and I want to go kill the guy on the other side of the street. No, I want to be like him.
Right.
I want to be in that arena, So something strange took over us, changed our men, put them against each other. That's what was new.
Well, like I say, if you take, it's like, I'm going to give you an example. And my father used this analogy one time. He said it was a dog one time, and another dog was jumping on his dog when he was tearing that dog up. So another dog was sitting in the back looking at this. So he didn't go help the dog that was getting towed up. He helped the dog that was tearing the other dog up. And it's like the same thing when you got one group, just one race. Say you put them in a sports arena, the same race. That day, everybody's going to be cordial. They're going to look at each other. They're going to see what each other about. And give it 1 week, they're going to be fighting against each other because there's nobody else to fight.
Hey, that's what I said. I realized that in the gang module. When there's nobody else to trip on, we turn and trip on each other. Mm-hmm. We turn and trip on each other.
Look, let me tell you something, man. It's no different from when you're in a cell and you get a person to come in your cell and you hadn't seen him since school. He was one of your boys. Mm-hmm. Y'all get it there, y'all talk and laugh about how y'all used to go to clubs, do this and do that and do this. But after a while, those stories get old. Mm. So as soon as he say something that you don't like, you snap at him. And he's like, hey, man, I thought we were cool. Yeah, man, but I don't want to hear it today.
Yeah.
See, you only can sit up there and listen to and be around a certain person for so long before his company gets old and stale.
Yeah. Right.
So it's the same thing back in the days when that area was predominantly black. Mm-hmm. Right. We didn't have nobody else to trip on. So we tripped on each other. But now, over a course of years, due to the fact is, you got Hispanics that moved in now, and especially in the prison system, right? Now, after the LA riots, a lot of the black gangs in prison ended up banding together because now they finally had realized we can't fight each other because every other race is going to turn on us.
Yes.
Right.
See, they finally realized it, but it took the LA riots to finally figure that. Now, don't get me wrong. We tried to band together when something happened back before the LA riots. Mm-hmm. But after the LA riots, a lot of guys kind of woke up and said, hey, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Look what's going on out there in the streets.
Look what's going on.
You know what I'm saying? Look what happened. Look how they treat this when it comes to us getting pulled over for to pull out your wallet. Like Richard Pryor once said, I'm reaching for my wallet to not get shot. He made that statement back in the 70s, and it's still true to this day.
Philando Castile.
Right.
Philando Castile.
He's
last
reaching
year.
for his car. He wasn't even reaching for his weapon. He reaching for his
legal
permit to
right,
carry.
The permit to carry, right.
Exactly.
You see, and so, the crazy thing is that's the biggest thing that changed for us.
Yeah, because people start opening their eyes to see, hey, you know what I'm saying? We're not our enemies. They're the enemies.
Right.
So, like I said before, when you have to reach for your wallet and then be the fear of being shot, you better wake up.
Yes.
Right.
We had a young entrepreneur, and I'm so happy that we have some now.
Which
Mel.
one you talking about? Mel. Yeah, Taco Mel.
Taco Mel.
He's right across the street, you guys.
Right
Go see
across
him
the
on
street.
43rd and Crenshaw.
And got a food truck on Manchester and
Manchester and Western.
Right.
He's right there at the Shell gas station.
Yep, behind that Shell gas station. If you can find him out there, but that's Taco Mel. Taco Mel's a young man.
28 years old.
Yes, and we're so happy because we see this coming out of this generation. They're looking for a real place, to make a difference. Mel said, hey, when the police, this is the operative thing, when the police pull up on me, trying to pull me over, I just throw the keys out the window. Right. I just throw the keys out the window and sit there and wait. It's like whatever the hell you gonna do, I ain't gonna move.
Right, and that's a fear. That's so when think about trauma. Trauma is when I'm in my own community and I have a fear of people who look like me. And when I leave my community and I drive off, I have a fear of the police as well.
In the uniform.
So, where would I feel comfortable living in this community? When I fear people. And let me tell you what I used to see, too, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Everybody on the block, everybody got a pistol. Everybody hanging out. And as soon as a car come down the street, they on them like, who is that?
Who is
there,
that?
Right? And they ready to shoot if they look the wrong way. But the police come, they hit the corner, and they could see the lights at the top. Know it's the police. They throw the gun, hop the fence, they ready to run. This is the true enemy coming, but you have pointed the gun at somebody who looked like you.
Could be a member of your family.
Ready to get them.
Yeah.
But when you see someone who going to beat the dog out of you, who going to put you in jail forever
or shoot you, shoot you running, shoot you in the back
there's
running.
A fear. There's a fear. So that comes from slave days right there where there's a fear.
Though? Look, see, a lot of people, right? See, when guys do that back in the days, they have no fear of the car coming down the street arresting them. See, they only have a fear of the one who's going to arrest them, prosecute them, and send them to jail. See, you can't. If you coming down the street and I got my gun and say, hey, it look like Skipp, I know you ain't going to pull no badge out. You ain't going to send me to jail. Right. See, so that's some of the fear taken away. Right. But as soon as this car pull up, he got the badge. He's going to read you your rights. You're going to be in that county jail for a couple of years until you get convicted because you ain't going to beat your case. No. And you're going to the joint for about a good 20, 25. That's where that fear come in at. Right. See, people fear time now because time is not like it was when I came in. Mm-hmm. The most time you could get back then was 25 years to life. Or unless some judge just got ridiculous and just gave you a flat 300. Mm-hmm. See, now you can go to jail, get a life sentence for non-murder.
Right.
All you got to do is just strike out.
Yeah. Right.
25 for that strike. You're going to get 15 for this, for carrying that. Or you're going to get 1 year for each bullet that was in the gun. Right. You was a gang member, 10-year enhancement. By the time they add it up to about, 75, 85 years to life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you're ready to cut your wrist. But the thing about it is you should have thought about that at the start.
Well, this is a good part to get you to talk about being involved in that Scared Straight program, because I've always believed that's a good deterrent, is to give the young hardheads a dose of their future. So tell us a little bit about that.
See, when I was in the Scared Straight program, right, we caught the kids that was coming from junior high, sometimes elementary school, junior high school, and sometimes high school. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can catch them before, if you give them a dose, and when I say a dose of reality, and sometimes what I used to do is, right, to let them know what prison was really like, I would get at the guards first to say, look, man, I'm getting ready to do something, right? Y'all just roll with me, right? Oh. So I'll sit up there and tell the kids, hey, look, check this out. We're not trying to force you to do anything, but we letting you know if you come to prison, you know what I'm saying, you probably will be violated one way or another, be robbed, you might be raped, you know. And I asked one youngster, I said, what would you do if you went in the cell and there's a 300-pound guy breathing on your back and talking about he want to take your ass? You know what he told me? I would do nothing. I said, see, that's what I'm talking about. You'll be out here screwing up, getting in trouble, but let this 300-pound
He ain't gonna fight.
guy.
You don't let him rape you.
You said you was gonna do nothing. See, this goes to show you only tough on the street, but you're not tough in prison. Then I did this. Why? I used to tell him, I say, look, you youngsters come up here, right? You know, some of them try to smack their teeth. I say, look, check this out. I'm not the one. I said, I may not never get out. I said, now you may smack your teeth with me, and I might hit you in the face with this soda. And I said, see your parents back there? Your parents back there? I might go back there and whoop their ass on GP.
Yeah.
And everybody start laughing, but see, it may not be funny because I may not be in a good mood that day. So I told him, I said, just because your parents here, they can't save your ass.
No.
You in an environment we can take off on you right now. All you can do is just go home and throw some alcohol on your wounds and just don't come back.
Don't come back.
So I told the youngsters, I said, look, let me tell you something. This is not a game. I said, don't think you coming in here to do exercises. You getting ready to run the track all day. You getting ready to go in here and get politicked on. I said, you're going to be told. I said, you got inmate rules. You got prison rules. And either one of them is no good. The only difference between the inmate rules is you can lose your life. If you come in here too weak, you're going to be preyed on. If you come in here too strong, somebody's going to try you.
Yeah.
I said, if you run around in somebody else's business, you're going to get stabbed. If you come in here snitching, you're going to get stabbed. I said, either way it goes, you're going to have a bad time in here.
Yeah.
If a riot jump off in here and you're not out there front and center mandatory yard,
Oh yeah, you gonna get done.
you can sit up there and say, hey, I had a stomach ache. I was cooking the top ramen. It wasn't done yet. You're going to get your ass toe up, handed to you.
Right.
Even
And
I
every
know
time you
that.
go to a different prison,
They gonna
it's
know
like
already.
a pipeline come down, like they already had a cell phone before they was invented. They're going to say, this guy ran in the riot.
Yeah.
And every yard you go to, they're going to be whooping your ass until you finally go to the guard and say, look, I had enough. I need to get off this yard.
That's why they got so many special need yards now.
They politically call S and Y, sensitive needs yard.
Right.
You know.
Well, you know what? They want to put kids up in adult prisons now.
No, they did already. When I did that violation in 2004, little young fella from Baldwin Village at the Hatchapee just came over there. I'm like, man, what is you doing? They got a yard for juveniles. And I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But here's the thing, right? When the juveniles screw up, the next stop is adult prison. Because if they leave them in there long enough, right, to where they screw up, then they say, well, you just didn't graduate. It's not like you graduated from the 9th to the 10th.
Oh, yeah, they don't go home.
You go from juvenile to big.
And that's what Marcus said, too. Marcus said that when he came in, he went in at 17 years old.
Yep.
And, he eventually graduated, went to the other yard. But listen, we're going to run out of time. So what I want to do, I want to give you at least a minute, brother. What is the message that you want to leave to young people who's going to watch this? The young people watching it now, is there anything you could leave them with, man, so that we... The
only thing I can leave them with right now in this quick, short of time is, look, do not, if you can help it, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, I'm trying to tell you what to expect. And what I just told you is what you're going to expect when you get in there. Once they throw that life sentence on you, it ain't no do-overs. You know, you can holler and scream and hold them to the door, but when you get in there, catch that chain, and you go to the prison system, it's a wrap. Only thing you can do is learn to take care of yourself. But if you don't want to go through any of this, just get you a job, stay out, do the best thing you can to stay alive in the community, especially where we live, and just enjoy life. Because when you go in there at 21 and then you come out at 50, you can't get that time back. Those are years that you will never, ever get back. And when you get out, you're going to be upset because you're going to be looking back on all the things you have missed. Getting kids, getting your own home, getting a car. That's what make you really angry.
Yes.
So to avoid all this, I know jobs is hard to get, but ain't nothing worth going to prison for. Right. Nothing can be worth that. Especially what it is now. It's horrible. Yeah. Right. And it's going to get worse.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Brother Leo. Appreciate you being here. I know you got a lot of history, man, and a lot of things to share. We definitely going to get you back. I was trying to make it a show where I had you and guys from 83rd Street so we can have that dialogue, but I'm going to do a better job next time, but I'm glad you came out. So
really happy you came.
Yeah, what I want to share last little bit is that the system is designed to put our children and lockup, incarceration with no education so that they can make money. And I just don't want the young people to fall in that trap because we're losing so many people, losing so many influences. And also the fact that know that you might not be a role model, but you're a real model to somebody.
Yes,
you are a model to somebody. One of the individuals he ain't had no idea. I'm sitting on the porch saying, man, I want a photo Chevy, just like you remember that blue Chevy.
Yeah.
I want me a photo Chevy.
Yes.
He's skinny, got long hair. I was skinny with long hair. I'm like, okay, I could do this.
Name is Pretty Boy, huh?
Right.
Look, I know why.
So,
they ain't got to tell me no more than that.
I just want to make sure that the young people know, and I want to make sure that people my age and a little younger know that you are a model to someone.
Yes.
Please pay attention, because are you leading them down the wrong path or the right path? What is your influence? But I always want to leave you guys with keep your head to the sky. For that, yes.
That's it. Well, God bless your community family. Right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming tonight. And we hope you will come back.
Okay.
Share some more of that wisdom.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.